morning. Good morning. I hope you're safe and well because that is the most important thing. Now, I'm looking outside the window and it is thick fog here again. So I hope that you are not too inconvenienced by the fog and the general bad weather. I've also just heard from a colleague that some colleagues of theirs have been flying and have come down with the flu. So if you do have to fly anywhere, I hope you manage to avoid flu, COVID, any of the respiratory viruses. Planes just seem to be such a hotbed of infection at the moment. Ironically, as I mentioned to said colleague, in the days when smoking was allowed on planes, there were a couple of major advantages to it. The first one is you had to have a lot more changes of air to remove the smoke from the cabin, and therefore the chance of infection with a respiratory disease was quite a bit lower. And the second thing is the nicotine stains used to go around the leaks in the fuselage, where air was leaking out of the fuselage. So it was fantastic for maintenance because people could see where there were small leaks that were then going to turn into bigger ones just on the nicotine stains. Isn't that ironic? Anyway, leaving all that on one side, the big news this week is the extension to the UK REACH submission deadlines, which you have probably heard about because it's gone around certainly the UK REACH community like wildfire. The theory is that we're going to be able to get a 3-year extension on all of the 3 deadlines. However, there are 2 little things you need to be aware of. First of all, I'm putting the link to the official government page there, and thanks very much to DEFRA for sending it through specifically for the newsletter, which is it's a great thing, isn't it, that they think we've got that reach. Anyway, reach and reach, no pun intended, by the way. You can tell this is live, can't you? So the 2 things to think about. The first thing to think about is the fact that because REACH is partly an environmental regulation, an environmental law in the UK is actually handled by the devolved government. So it is DEFRA and the Environment Agency on the environmental side in England. But we've got Environment Wales in Wales. We've got SEPA, Scottish Environmental Protection Agency in Scotland. And then we've got Northern Ireland, EEHS, apologies, but for Northern Ireland. Obviously, with the workings of the Northern Ireland Protocol, I don't think that Northern Ireland needs to be consulted. But Wales and Scotland definitely have to approve the REACH deadline changes. And it may be sensible to consult with Northern Ireland as well in case the protocol fails, because as you're probably aware, negotiations are still ongoing about that situation. So you might go, well, that's fine. It should go through like rubber stamp. No problem. Not so fast, people. Never underestimate the potential for the devolved government to take the huff with the Westminster government, in my experience. And unfortunately, we have got things that the Westminster government's doing that the devolved governments might not be too happy with. Well, 2 out of 3. The first thing is the Scottish referendum decision, which is that the Scottish referendum that was considered to be advisory that the SNP specifically want to bring in for Scotland has been knocked back by the Supreme Court. And that happened about 10 days ago, something like that. So the SNP can't hold the what they call Indy Ref 2 without the approval and general sort of oversight of Westminster. So they might not be too happy with any proposal coming out of the Westminster government. Second thing is Northern Ireland. If Northern Ireland is to have a say in this matter, which I think would kind of be sensible just in case the Northern Ireland Protocol fails, there's a proposal for the MSPs to have their pay docked because they're not actually sitting at the moment. Not removed, but like halved or something like that, which seems dreadful because it's not the MSP's fault that there's a deadlock at the moment in Stormont. And no doubt they are doing what every MP of whatever parliament, whether Westminster or the devolved parliaments do, which is they are doing a massive amount of constituency work helping people, even if the particular parliament they're involved in is not sitting. So Northern Ireland won't be terribly happy with Westminster either. And the third thing, which is not related to Parliament, is England have just knocked Wales out of the World Cup. So I am sincerely hoping that all of these things don't count against the devolved governments agreeing to these REACH deadlines. The second thing is, when you look at the REACH deadlines, so 2020, hang on, I'm just going to read them off because it's quite complicated. So yeah, 2023 becomes 2026. That's for 1,000 or more tons per year, but it's also for CMRs at 1 ton per year or more, or very toxic to aquatic organisms, acute or chronic, for 100 tons or more per year, or SVHCs as at the candidate list on the 31st of December 2020. So just like EU REACH, don't think that it's just on tonnage band, it's also on CMRs and SVHCs. A lot of information about this in this week's newsletter. I will put the link to sign up below this video. I'll do that after we finish this live, because I forgot to get it lined up. It's been a busy week, people. It really has. So anyway, that's the work side of things. No doubt you're going, well, what's happening with reasons to be cheerful? Because my goodness, with the weather the way it is, yes, it's still absolutely thick fog out there. I don't know why it was going to think it, you're moving in a couple of minutes, but you never know around here. So the reasons to be cheerful are from Harry and Paul, and it's I can't believe it's not custard. Just putting the link there as well. So I hope that you have a great weekend, and I hope that the weather improves. Snow due for us next week. Well, it is December now, isn't it? And I look forward to chatting to you again next week. Take care of yourselves. Bye.